Now, right now, as I just did say earlier, it is a Category 5 storm near Mexico. And right now, Category 5 storm, Hurricane Milton, wind speeds currently right now are predicted about 180 miles per hour. And the gusts were unbelievably high, over 200 miles an hour. I got wind gusts on what this said of about 219 miles per hour. Hello and welcome back to another video by me, Entertainment Factory 16. And for today's video, as you guys can see, we are not doing a gaming video or a reaction video. We're looking at the radar, which in this case, it's for me, it's called My Radar. And we're taking a look at the recent hurricane that is developing. And is going to be predicting to hit Florida very, very soon. And I'm going to be talking about it in this video because it's also been a while since I've done a weathering analysis video. And since this hurricane was brewing and has been rapidly intensifying, by the way, I wanted to talk about it. But before we get into it, if you guys can please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's just get right into it. So first of all, this storm formed about 2 days ago. It's called Hurricane Milton. I didn't originally know what the name would be because, seriously, I was so recent up to this storm that news sources were only an hour ago reporting this storm system had just formed. That's how quickly I was able to respond with the storm system. Because it was, I think, right here. It was just a depression when I looked at it 2 days ago. Just like Hurricane Helene. It's been 2 days. And Hurricane Helene lasted for about a total of 5 days. I'm going to compare it to Hurricane Helene because there's a lot of similarities so far to it. And with Hurricane Helene, let me just show you. So Hurricane Helene started around here, I'd say, I think, if I remember correctly. It started around here, and it was a fast-moving hurricane, or storm, essentially. In just 2 days after it started, it went from tropical disturbance, / also a depression as well, to a full-fledged Category 4 storm right here. And I remember the same exact day. I kept looking at the reports when Hurricane Helene was going close to the Panhandle, essentially. That was like right here. I remember just constantly checking, and then it constantly would update on My Radar for me, where it constantly keep updating over and over and over. It went from predicted landfall in the Panhandle, which was around this area in the Panhandle, went from originally Category 1, next in just hours, Category 2, next hours, Category 3, and then the next day, Category 4. And originally I was expecting Helene to be a Category 5. Thank the Lord it wasn't, but it was still severe. Currently today, there are, at the low end, about 300 people missing because of the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And at the high end, about 1,400 that are reported being missing because of the storm. And the deaths so far, death toll of Hurricane Helene is predicted around 220 to 240 right now, just from the hurricane. And that makes it the second deadliest Atlantic hurricane since Hurricane Katrina, essentially. But yeah, I've seen a similar pattern with Hurricane Milton right here, basically, that I did with Hurricane Helene. In just a 2-day period, we saw enormous rapid intensification that we've never seen before as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've been alive for some time, but I will tell you one thing. I've been interested in weather for so long, and I've never, ever seen a hurricane rapidly intensify in this short period of time of 2 days. I've never seen that. I've never seen it that quickly in its lifetime after just a very quick development of the storm ever quickly intensify that fast. And at the quickest I've seen it before in the past was like 4 to 6 days it took for a hurricane to hit major hurricane status. And now it's taken literally 2 days just for a hurricane to strengthen from, or a storm system to strengthen from tropical depression to a full-fledged Category 5 storm, as we're seeing with this one right here. Category 5 is insane enough. And yes, it's going to go through Florida. I have this little predictions, as you guys can see. It does say right now, it says it will go through Florida and hit landfall in Tampa almost exactly at October 10th, 2024, as about Category 3. I do fear that this is not accurate right now. I do fear, because I always kept saying that what I would say, this is the Gulf of Mexico. They're forming in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is one of the warmest parts of the entire ocean on planet Earth. That's why these hurricanes are rapidly strengthening like this, but it's not the main only reason. It's also because of climate change. I'm assuming the reason why these ones are strengthening even faster than we've seen in the past, I'd assume something is going on that is just ridiculously lifting climate change to a higher scale we've ever seen before. Because climate change and a huge rise in temperatures and ocean waters and other stuff like that result in more powerful, deadly, and catastrophic storms as we've seen, and will see with this one most likely as well. Now, right now, as I just did say earlier, it is a Category 5 storm near Mexico, right over here, part of Mexico, I think. Yeah, I think that's Mexico. And right now, Category 5 storm, Hurricane Milton, wind speeds currently right now are predicted about 180 miles per hour. Gust, unknown right now, but I will tell you, I looked at it just not that long ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, 10, not that long ago. And the wind speeds of the hurricane were at 178 miles per hour, and the gusts were unbelievably high, over 200 miles an hour. When I got wind gusts on what this said of about 219 miles per hour from this storm right here, 219 miles an hour, which is ridiculously fast. Ridiculously fast. The last time I saw that high amount of wind speed is literally like never, and I'm not joking either. I've never seen a wind gust that high before. I've seen 200 mile an hour wind gusts before, but never to the likes of seen that high above 200. I've seen, I think it was last year in 2023 with Hurricane Lee, where the gust of the winds got around that, but I've never seen it on a scale like this highly above 200 miles an hour, and at nearly 20 miles an hour above the 200 mile an hour mark, which is insane enough to me. But I also fear about this one, though, since it is Category 5, which is, by the way, if you don't know the Saffir-Simpson scale, it ranks hurricanes on the strength of their winds, essentially. So Category 1 is just classification of hurricane, regular classification when it becomes hurricane. It's winds of 74 to 95 miles an hour. Category 2 is winds of 96 to 110 miles an hour, I'm pretty sure. And Category 3 is 111 to 100, and I think 30. And then, or 129, I think, around. And then the Category 4 is 130 to 156 miles an hour, and Category 5 storms are classification winds of 157 or above miles an hour for a storm. And this storm right here is one of the strongest storms I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's in the Gulf of Mexico. Like I just said earlier, the Gulf of Mexico is one of the warmest parts of the entire ocean on this planet. And as we saw with Helene, where it rapidly intensified in 2 days, which we have, I don't think, never ever seen before on this planet with any storm like this, where it rapidly intensifies in only a 2-day period, 40 literal 8 hours, which is insane to think about. We never seen it before, and it's probably contributions to climate change and other things as well. But what I'm scared about is this is a Category 5 storm, and I do fear, like I did say earlier, I think this right now prediction is not going to be fully accurate. As I have been saying, I actually made an Instagram post about this, okay? So yeah, like I was just saying before, I caught this development in this storm system pretty early on. Like I said, at the longest amount of time, it took me an hour after most news sources had reported this thing had developed, essentially. And I made an Instagram post about it. At that time, I'm going to also pop up an image of the screenshot that I have taken of the Instagram post I made, essentially. At the time, the storm was right here, right there, as you guys can see by my mouse. I'm just circling around where it was originally. Right there, tropical depression. Anyways, originally the four predictions, I think, said that it would hit Florida as a Category 2 or 1 storm, and they just kept going up and up as the hours went by. After I kept checking, it kept going up and up until it's at this stage right here of Category 5 landfall, I'd assume. Because I'm going to assume right now, the reason I'm going to assume is because it's in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't think it's going to be weakening. It's going to strengthen, as we've seen, rapid intensification. Right here, let's just look at the rapid intensification right here. Look at how quickly, it doesn't look quick, but look So just look at the little blobs here in time. So right now we're currently at the current timing, and it's also October 7th, and then October 8th, about 12 hours later, about from now essentially, and just look at, and how long it is for a 12-hour period. It does depend if it moves faster or slower. In this amount of time right now, it's a 12-hour period where it'll go from here to there. But just look at how quickly it rapidly intensified in a period of hours, and you can tell by how quick and how tiny these little dashes are that how quickly it intensified. You could see it slowly didn't intensify too much, but then it just started rapidly intensifying at this point right here. After it hit category 2, it went on a rapid intensifying spree. It went from 2 to 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5. And it doesn't seem like it's going to weaken. I don't think it will. It's in the Gulf of Mexico. I've said that many times, but it's important to know it's in the Gulf of Mexico. One of the warmest parts of the ocean. And I swear it is. I swear it's one of the warmest parts of the entire ocean on this planet. Just one of the warmest in general. And I do fear this is going to strengthen even more, and possibly strengthen to a point of 200 mile an hour winds, and I really think it's possible. Many scientists had predicted that this season, hurricane season, would be an more than average season. At first, I kind of laughed at it, and what I mean laughed at it is I didn't believe it, because at first it just seemed like nothing was forming until recently. Yeah, that all changed when Hurricane Helene came right through. All changed. This storm's coming right through as well, and it's just changed. There's been a lot of storm systems now forming. Once it hit September, it went on a massive spree of hurricanes spawning. Because beforehand, there was only 3 to 5 that formed in the summer months. But now that it's like fall, oh my god, they're just popping out of nowhere. They're strengthening like crazy. Popping over here and there and there and there and there, all over the place essentially. They're just popping out, strengthening like crazy, and hitting areas and inflicting so much damage and loss of life, sadly. And that's the sad thing. They're just going to get deadlier and deadlier if we don't fix climate change, if we can't do anything about this. This just is a result. This is a result of it. If we can't fix climate change, this is what happens. We have more loss of life, we have more damage, we have more people who are missing and most likely dead. And that's just the result, sadly. It's a sad thing, but it's the result. If we can't take care of this environment, if we cannot take care of our own environment, we don't take it seriously of taking care of our environment, this just happens as a result. As much as people are saddened by it, you have to take care of the environment. This helps. If you do, it helps. It does. And also with climate change, you just reduce your global footprint, essentially. Carbon footprint. Now that's not the only thing you could do, but there's many other things you could do to help decrease your impact on the earth of the amount that you cause climate change individually. And every human is different, but still, us humans are just making ridiculous amounts of carbon possible and rising it up, and climate change has been higher than it's ever been in history. I've been looking at graphs and data stuff like that, and I've looked at it, and ever since we industrialized and all that type of stuff, we have seen climate change, or what do you call it? I think global warming and other types of stuff just out of the chart, essentially. We've never seen it before, never this high before, and because of it, we're seeing these horrific storms that are taking many lives away from our Earth, sadly. But we have to take more action. We have to, and anyone listening to us who's from Florida, may I add, anyone from Florida who's listening to me right now, what you can do, if you cannot evacuate, because evacuating would be the one thing you should do right now, because a lot of people live in Florida, about 22 million, I think at least, live in Florida, and it's hitting the main area of Florida. Not like Helene did where it hit the Panhandle. This time it's hitting the mainland, essentially the mainland of Florida, at nearly peak strength, I'm going to assume as well. It's going to hit Florida, the mainland area where most of the people live in Florida, essentially. And all I can say, if you can evacuate. If you can't evacuate, prepare to the best of your ability to be able to survive the storm. It's as much as I don't want to say this, it's going to be hard to. This is a powerful storm, and it looks like it's going to be a powerful storm. Just do to the best of your ability, prepare for the storm. If you cannot evacuate to the best of your ability, prepare for the storm. And for those people living in Florida, or people going on vacation closer and thinking about going to Florida, let me say something to the people going to Florida or planning on. Cancel the flight. Cancel the flight. I know it's not the smartest move money-wise, but just cancel the flight. Your life is more important than a memory, I would say. You have your whole life to have many memories. I don't think you want your life to be taken away because you'd rather go somewhere that's going to be, I think, destroyed by a hurricane, because this one is so ridiculously powerful compared to many others. But I just cancel the flight, or don't go there yet. Just wait, and then when if anything's left, because this is gonna be a powerful storm, like I just said, it's gonna be powerful. But I do think, of course, there's going to be buildings left. It's the state of Florida. Florida has experienced many major hurricanes, and they, of course, over the years, built up their resistance to these hurricanes and other type of stuff because they're used to it by now. Since, let me think here, I think it was so ridiculously long ago, centuries ago, or about a century ago, when experiencing other hurricanes like the Ochabe hurricane that took 30,000 lives away in the 1900s, and 1992 with Hurricane Andrew that caused and inflicted about $60 billion in damage in today's money, at the time about $28 billion, I think it was. And then we have Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Ian, and a bunch of others that have inflicted tens to hundreds of billions of dollars of damage in Florida. And Florida has recovered from them, and I bet they will from this one. But all I could say, just do your best to prepare with the best of your ability for this hurricane. That's all I can say, because I don't know what else you could do. It's catastrophic. This storm is super powerful. I don't know what else to say, but just I hope all of you will be okay. I hope all of you will be safe. I'm praying for all of you, hoping that you will all be okay when the storm passes through, hoping that all of you will not suffer any sort of loss of life from just dying yourself, or passing away yourself because of the storm, or experiencing a loss in life of a relative, friend, or a family member, or even a pet. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I hope it won't, but the sad reality is probably going to. But just to the best of your ability, prepare for this hurricane, because it is very important to prepare for hurricanes, especially like this. We thought at first, oh yeah, just form. Maybe it might not be that strong. I predicted what I thought would happen. I predicted, of course, and it was correct. I said, this storm is going to be probably like Hurricane Helene, but maybe stronger. And I was correct. And that's something that I hate being correct for, especially because I'm interested in weather, but this is the sad part about weather, is when, sadly, there's so many people trying to do their actions that sometimes supplies are not available for them, and so many people evacuating that slows down the traffic and stuff like that, so not everyone can evacuate, and it results in, sadly, people losing their lives over this stuff, sadly. It's a sad thing. It's the saddest thing about being a weatherman, essentially. You have to, sadly, kind of experience, essentially, loss in life, even when trying to tell people to evacuate and prepare to the best of your ability from these massive cluster of thunderstorms, essentially. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. And what I was mentioning with Hurricane Helene, originally what I said, I didn't say how much damage it inflicted, but currently right now the cost, they say, currently is at about $40 billion in damage inflicted across the southern United States from Hurricane Helene alone. It could go higher up, it could go lower, I'm not sure right now, but with this hurricane right here being stronger, a lot stronger by about, I'd say right now 40 miles an hour stronger than Hurricane Helene was at its peak, we're going to see, sadly, more damage, more loss of life, and a bunch of other stuff. We're going to see probably stronger tornadoes, heavier rainfall, and higher storm surge. As sad as it is, it's probably going to happen. And yeah, I just want to tell all you guys, all you Floridians living in the state right now, to take as much action as you can to prepare for the storm. If you can evacuate, do it, do it, do it. It is recommended. Just evacuate if you can. If you can, evacuate. It is important to stay safe when these massive, destructive, catastrophic storms come through the area you're living in. It's better living than losing your property. I bet you most people would rather live than lose their property. It's sad and it's expensive, I will say, yes, losing property, but it's better you lived than it is that you lost your property, okay? But yeah, I just hope you guys will all be okay. I'm praying for you. Hope you guys will make a swift recovery after this storm. I hope none of you are going to be hurt, injured, or killed. I pray for the best of you, to the best of your ability to prepare for the storm, to evacuate if you can, and just stay safe, and God bless you. I hope you all stay safe. See you later.